Hi, and welcome to our Keto Cooking with Love live show. Happy Sunday. I'm Janae, your host, and alongside with me is my husband, Jose, our Keto Master Chef.
That's right. Happy Sunday.
Happy
How you guys
Sunday.
doing? We're so excited to be here with you. Thank you to everyone who has joined us, both at home as well as our live studio audience.
Yes, thank you.
So today we have an amazing recipe. If you guys are new to our channel, we're a Keto Master Chef couple. We help people combat diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome through a low-carb lifestyle. So if that's something that you're interested in, as well as delicious recipes, what should they do, my
They
love?
should like our page. Please share along with your family and friends and those that you think that may need a healthier lifestyle through keto.
That's right. So today is our season finale.
Yes, episode 9. That would be it for the season.
That's right. So thank you to everyone that's joined us throughout this season for all your love and support. Is much, much appreciated. And today we have an amazing recipe for you.
Yeah, we're going to throw it down today.
We're going to throw it down. But before that, as we always do, we like to kick off with a cocktail from last season.
Yes.
So what do we have here, baby?
A
Remember?
hurricane.
A hurricane. This is our keto hurricane. The recipe for this will be linked down below. And we actually did this last year on our Cajun episode. I think that we made
That's
a gumbo.
right. That's
Remember we made a chicken
gumbo.
and shrimp
That's
gumbo
right.
with
That's right.
cauliflower dirty rice and keto cornbread. It was amazing. So you want to check that recipe out.
Yes.
So cheers to
So
all of you
cheers,
guys.
and cheers to our live studio audience.
Cheers. Mwah.
Thank
See
you.
what this tastes like.
Okay. Ooh, kick it off with a nice beverage here.
I can have a few of those today.
Ah,
That's yummy.
yeah.
All right, guys. So today we're going to make for you one of our favorite recipes.
I need more rum.
And it's so appropriate for the holiday season, baby. What are we making?
We are making lamb chops.
Rack of lamb.
Rack of lamb,
All right,
yeah.
we have a roasted rack of lamb. But today's like the perfect episode because we're combining one of my recipes with one of your recipes,
That's right, that's right.
We're making my love's, normally we do this with collards.
Collards,
But we're going to be doing some braised kale.
Yes,
Okay, we're going to
yes.
be doing similar to collards where instead of using ham hocks, what are we using, baby?
Turkey butts.
That's right.
And turkey tails.
Smoked turkey butts. So if someone doesn't partake in pork, they can still get all of that flavor, all of that umami that you would get from ham hocks, but instead it's going to be poultry, it's going to be turkey.
That's right. Give it a nice flavor.
That's
also.
right.
Yes.
So let's get into this recipe. We're going to start off with
basically,
making
it's really simple.
Super simple. Let me grab this. Hopefully I don't burn myself. Ah! I'm okay. All right, so here, tell them what we have, baby. Tell them what you made.
We have here our turkey tails, and all I do is use a little bit of water and chicken stock,
All right,
or we can use vegetable stock if you like, and a little bit of simple ingredients, our favorite adobo, our seasoning with also... what is that called? Cayenne pepper.
Cayenne, a little bit of heat.
Yes, and I put a little bit also of a bouillon to give it an added flavor.
Exactly.
So there you go.
To give it more depth of flavor.
Yeah.
So like she said, just a few simple ingredients. And then how long do you boil or simmer your turkey butts?
It usually takes about 45 minutes, give or take.
Because the smoked turkey tails or turkey butts are already cooked.
Yeah.
But we want to get them nice and
tender. Yes.
So you can enjoy them with the kale. So let's get this fire on. Go ahead, baby, get that on. And so we've already cooked down and simmered these, like she said, for about 45 minutes to an hour. And now we're gonna add our kale. Again, you can do this with collard, you can do this with any type of leafy green, mustard greens, or whatever kind of greens you like.
Yeah, this is the first time that we're actually
doing it with kale,
doing
right?
it with kale, that's
and the
correct.
reason that we're doing it with kale is because you're gonna get all of that nice, delicious vegetable flavor that you would from a collard green, but this is actually gonna cook a little bit quicker. Now, usually when people make their greens, they cook them way too long. And that's okay. You wind up taking out a lot of the minerals and nutrients from it. But since we're also going to enjoy some of the broth, you're going to get that and be able to fortify that.
That's right.
But kale, because it's a little bit less fibrous than collards, it's still going to give you that same flavor.
How's the sous chef doing here?
You're doing amazing, like always. But it's going to cook a little bit quicker, okay? So here, mommy, we got more kale.
Bring it on.
Your tongs to dunk that down there, okay? And once we add this kale, baby, how long is it gonna cook for?
It takes a few minutes,
I'll do this
maybe
for
about
you.
20 minutes if that, because this cooks really quick, like you said.
So yeah, you want to make sure you get it all inside. Okay, today I'm gonna be your sous chef now.
Thank you, my love. Teamwork.
So for those that don't know what a sous chef is, you basically do all the work and the chef gets all the credit. So
Perfect.
Here you go, my love.
Bring it all in. Bring it all in. There you
Baby,
go.
we're on TV.
Yeah.
Now, so it's just that simple. You're gonna simmer your turkey tails, or if you partake in pork, you can do this with ham hocks. Simmer that down in chicken stock, like she said. She seasoned it with some cayenne pepper, a little bit of chicken bouillon, and some adobo. And then once you get that simmering for about 45 minutes and you've tenderized your smoked tails, then you're gonna add your greens to it, okay?
Correct.
Get that nice and submerged, and because it's collards, this is actually gonna cook very quickly.
Hope you guys like it nice and spicy, because I'm gonna make mine pretty spicy.
We added that cayenne in there, all right?
Give it a nice kick.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna put that on the back burner, baby. You can cut that off.
Okay.
Cut this off. Ow! Now, so we got that simmering back here on our back burner. And because we're doing kale, like we mentioned, it cooks quicker than collards. It's only gonna take about 15, 20 minutes from this point, all right? So this is a very simple, user-friendly recipe that you can make very quickly to entertain your guests.
Right.
It's appropriate for the holiday season. It's appropriate if you're doing some keto soul food. It's gonna be a big, big, big winner, and I can't get enough of it.
So
I can't get enough of your
keto-fy
cooking
anything, pretty much.
Absolutely,
Have to be creative.
almost anything.
Almost anything, but you pretty much can create your version of it.
That's good. I don't know if my straw has a leak here, but we're gonna work with it. So now we're gonna make a roasted rack of lamb. So we have here our pretty little lamb rack, as you can see, where you have I think this is New Zealand baby lamb. They all come with 8 chops, okay? And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make a nice marinade for it very quickly. So I'm gonna do this, baby, so you don't mess up your nails.
Go ahead,
Okay.
go for it.
But we're going to use you can do a grater, right, on the coarse setting. Or if you have a microplane at home, that garlic is trying to save itself, but doesn't know that's about to be really happy.
It knows.
So I'm gonna grate some fresh garlic, all right? And while I do this, I think we have some questions from our viewers. We get questions throughout the week, and we'd like to take an opportunity to address those questions on the show. But if you would like to ask us questions that we perhaps don't answer, where can they follow us,
They can
baby?
follow us on Top Class Radio. It's a free app. We are doing a podcast every Monday live at 6 p.m. where you can actually call in or text your questions.
That's right. We have our...
And the beauty of it, if you call in, you can talk to us.
That's right. So we have our Living La Vida Keto podcast, like my love said, on Top Class Radio. You can download it on any one of your app stores. It's a free app, and we get to answer a lot more questions there, as well as address more specific health topics. So I'm going to take one of our questions here. Thank you. And my very own Vanna White is going to read it for me.
Q&A. Since I started keto, my menstrual cycle is off, and I am concerned.
Okay, so this is a really important question. So for some women, what they'll experience is that when they start a ketogenic diet, it causes some hormonal changes. And whenever you have changes in your hormones, whether it's cortisol from stress or any type of hormonal change, this can affect your monthly menstrual cycle. Another part about it is that whenever you have any type of rapid weight loss, this can also throw off your menstrual cycle, because basically the body decides that maybe, for a woman to bear a baby and carry a baby to full term, you have to have a certain amount of weight. So whenever you start losing weight too quickly, your body might think that it's not an optimal time for you to carry a baby. And so these are some of the factors that can affect your menstrual cycle. It does not mean that you should stop keto. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong or unsafe. It just means that your hormones are being affected by the change in your diet.
That's right, it's a change.
Okay, and it doesn't even matter if it's keto. If you have any major changes to your diet or environment or stress levels, this can also affect your menstrual cycle. Conversely, With women who perhaps deal with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Yes.
keto has the opposite effect where it regulates your hormones and your menstrual cycle. So if this is something that you're experiencing with, it's not something for you to be concerned with, I would definitely encourage conversation with your doctor.
Exactly.
Or you can check out dietdoctor.com. That's a website that's engineered by the leading keto doctors in the country, and you can get more information there. But it's definitely not anything for you to be concerned with. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've grated my garlic, and now I'm grating some fresh ginger.
It smells delightful here.
You like that? Mm-hmm. What's my name? All right. So I'm grating some fresh ginger here. Got some fresh garlic. Okay, beauteous. Now let's get that all inside. And again, this marinade that we're making for the lamb, it's just a few ingredients, it's just a few steps. You can make this in advance, or if you don't have time to do it in advance, you can just do it, what the French say, à la minute, and it's still gonna be impactful in flavor. I got some red chili flakes in here, and then we're gonna add some fresh herbs, okay? To give this a nice pop of flavor. I have here some mint, and for those that know, mint and lamb is a classic marriage. So I have a little bit of fresh mint. I'm just gonna slice this up. Oh, that smells so good.
Throw it in there. Throw it in the bowl.
That makes me want to have a mojito. All right. Then we have here some rosemary. Okay.
Nice.
Which again is gonna give it a nice herbaceous, piney flavor. And again, rosemary is one of those herbs that's also a perfect marriage.
Now, what else can they put in the rack of lamb?
Well, they can use whatever kind of spices they like.
Okay.
You can use thyme. You can use a little bit of sage. You can use parsley, cilantro. Really, any herbs, when you put them together, they're going to create a beautiful synergy of flavors, and they're going to work wonderfully.
Now, can you throw some lemon juice or lime juice in there as well?
Absolutely. You can do some lime zest, some lemon zest. That's going to add a lot of flavor. You got really good questions.
I know, I do.
So some lemon zest, right? You want to use some lemon juice or a little bit of vinegar would be great. But whatever kind, and if you don't have access to fresh herbs, you can also use dry herbs, okay? For the dry herbs, I will use a little bit less. If you're using fresh herbs, you can use a little bit more. But dry herbs are going to have a more pronounced flavor.
How can I tell if I am in ketosis?
All right, this is a wonderful question. So sometimes people buy products that you don't necessarily need. But the best way to know that you're in ketosis is going to be if you have more energy. Okay, if you find yourself having better energy, if you're sleeping better. If you have better mental focus, where before you would have spouts of like fogginess or tiredness throughout the day, and now you feel that you're more alert, more cognitively aware, this is a great way. Also, you're just gonna have more energy. Okay, you're gonna have, and the biggest way to know that you're in ketosis is that your appetite goes down drastically. All right, when you're on a carb-heavy diet, like sometimes they say if a lot of people wake up hungry. When people wake up hungry, that's a big indicator that they had carbs for dinner, okay? Even if you follow a keto lifestyle and you go visit some family member and they're like, oh, I made my famous moro, I made my whatever. If you have carbs for dinner, you're gonna wake up hungry. You're gonna be like, why am I hungry?
Right.
I don't usually eat at this time. It's because you had carbs. So one of the things that carbs do is that they make you hungry all the time.
Yeah.
So when you find that your appetite is reduced, that perhaps you are, that like it's been hours and you haven't even thought about food and you're like, oh God, it's 2 p.m. and I haven't even eaten, that's a great sign that you're in ketosis, okay? And just to be clear on what ketosis is.
Yeah, please do tell.
When you are in a carb diet, right? When you're consuming a lot of carbs, your body is using carbs for energy or glucose or sugar. Any word, it all means the same. Ketosis means that you no longer use sugar for energy and instead you use fats or ketones for energy, okay? So again, when you rely on fat as your energy source as opposed to sugar or glucose, you're gonna have better mental focus, better sleep, more energy, and a reduced appetite, okay? That's the best way to know if you're in ketosis.
And when you have better, more energy, doesn't that help you with better sleep?
Absolutely.
Right?
And you can do more things.
Absolutely.
so yeah, absolutely. Having that energy throughout the day and that mental focus is going to help you get into a more, better state of what they call REM, which is that nice deep sleep that humans enjoy usually in the first few hours of sleeping. Okay? So now we've added our preferred keto fat, avocado oil. All right? Just enough to bring this into a nice kind of like garlicky, gingery herb paste.
Smells so good.
You like that?
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm gonna rub that all over my meat.
Oh my God.
All right. So like I said, we have our beautiful lamb rack here. Hey, what are you doing?
Rub it up.
Okay. And you can do this with a brush. You can do this with your hands. All right. And what you want to do is get that coated all over. All right. Again, if you have time, you can do this about an hour in advance, and let it rest at room temperature. And definitely, this is another thing that people don't know about cooking meat sometimes, is that sometimes you go to a restaurant and their meat is like juicier or better prepared. And that's because oftentimes when people make their meats or whatever they're making.
Put it all in there, baby.
Keep setting me up. A lot of times people will take their meats straight from the refrigerator and start to cook them, okay? And really, you want your meats to be at a nice room temperature, because this is going to create evenness in the cooking process and what they call the gradient of the meat. So sometimes people will have a piece of steak that they took out the refrigerator, they cooked it, and so on the outside it's going to cook at a higher rate than the inside. So by the time that you get the inside where you want it, it's nice and juicy, the outside is kind of like overcooked and dried out, and you don't have that balance of juiciness throughout your ribeye steak or your lamb or whatever you're making. So you definitely want to get your meats out in advance and bring them to room temperature before you cook them, whether you're making that in a pan or whether you're making that in an oven. Okay? So we have our marinade rubbed all throughout.
Do your thing, baby.
Our little pepper bay. All right? So we have this. We're going to add some fresh grated pepper. We have some pink Himalayan salt here. Okay? Because the lamb doesn't come seasoned, okay, from the farm. We're gonna season both sides, and we're gonna put this in a 450-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the level of doneness.
Step per side?
No, you're just gonna throw it in there, and it's gonna do its thing, because the oven is gonna give it heat all throughout.
Got it.
So if you want this at about a medium rare medium, you would, I'm gonna put this to our camera A here so we can get a nice close-up of that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? All right. So if you want that about a medium rare, beauteous. Medium rare, medium, you're gonna do about 15 minutes. But if you want it a little bit more well done or medium well, then you're gonna go a little bit longer, about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna get that in the oven, and guess what, baby?
So you would cook that like you would cook a rib. I mean, like a rib, like a ribeye or like a steak.
Depending on the thickness and the weight and the desired temperature, it could vary. You can use what's called a probe thermometer, where you insert it into your meat, and then the temperature gauge, the digital temperature gauge, is gonna be outside of the oven. You can set it to a time, you can set it to a certain temperature. So you can just, Google or research what's the appropriate temperature for medium or medium well or whatever. And then if you were using a probe thermometer, you would set it to, if you wanted it to be, let's say, 135 degrees at medium rare, medium well, you would set your probe thermometer to less than that, to about 125, 130.
Because it's still cooking.
When you take it out, you're going to have that carryover heat, and it's going to keep on cooking. So if you wanted to go to 135 or 140, you would set your probe thermometer to about 125, 130. And when it beeps, you take your meat out. It's going to be
very good,
flawless.
Good.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now look what we have here, baby.
Oh, my greens.
Yeah, doesn't that look gorgeous?
Nice and green.
Where's the tongs? If I was tongs, where would I be?
You'd be in the sink, maybe?
Or who knows?
Okay, right well. I'm sorry, I'm hiding them from you.
The tong meister. All right? All right, so our greens, even though they're cooked, they still have a nice, beautiful
that's how you want them.
Green color. Yes. Okay? You want to stop them while they're still green. because you just don't want to overdo it and beat all the nutrition out of them. Also because it's kale, it's still going to be nice and tender. So see how beautiful that looks. I'm going to bring the camera one here and get a gorgeous close-up of that. This smells so good, baby.
Can't wait to taste. Don't burn that instrument, my love.
My tongue is my instrument.
Don't burn that instrument.
Now, that's why it's called Keto Cooking with Love. We're going to jump into our Keto Mythbusters for this week, which, by the way, is brought to you by our sponsor from this season, 317 Marketing and Media. So, what do we have here,
So
my
the
love?
Mythbuster is all low carbs foods are okay on keto.
All right, so a lot of people think that if something is low carb, it's automatically okay for keto, and this is not entirely true. First of all, keto is not just low carb, it's also low carb, high healthy fat. So when you see a product in the store that says, 0 grams of carbs, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's keto friendly or that you can eat as much of it as you want, all right? That's one thing. Another thing, for example, like fats. All fats are low carb, okay? But not all fats are good for you. Corn oil, canola oil, sunflower, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, vegetable oil. All these oils are actually made from seeds and not vegetables or grains. And they're highly inflammatory. They have an unhealthy ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. So just because a food is technically low carb does not necessarily mean that it's keto friendly. It might still be keto, but it may not be keto friendly because keto is all about reducing inflammation in the body. And we talked about on our podcast last week when we talked about a lot of foods that people think are healthy. Like, store-bought dressings, store-bought marinara, store-bought salad dressings and condiments. A lot of these things are loaded with sugar.
The ketchups and the barbecue sauces,
And one tip that I want to give you while we're on this topic, like the easiest way to know that you're eating keto-friendly foods is to get one ingredient foods. Broccoli, ribeye, salmon, asparagus, spinach. Things that have only one ingredient and don't even need a label for you to know what's in it. Okay? But one thing that I want to tell you about food companies is that food companies are very deceptive in how they market their food. So, for example, we all learned in school that when something is 0.5 or higher, we round up. Well, many people don't know this. Food manufacturers do not have to follow the laws of math. Okay? If a product that they serve has 0.9 grams of fats, grams of carbs, they can round down to 0 and say that it has 0 carbs. But here's where it gets even more fun.
Go ahead.
Let's say that something has 1.6 grams of carbs per serving. They can change the serving size and cut the serving size in half, which people don't usually read this on the label, so that now it's 0.8 grams of carbs per serving, and they can reduce that to 0. So this is why we want you to be acutely aware that even if you're buying something that says, if they have to put on the packaging 0 grams of carbs, that's something that should give you a little bit of pause.
An indication.
And make you think, okay? Food manufacturers are not in the business of making you healthy. They're in the business of making money. They have a fiduciary obligation to their shareholders to make as much money as possible, okay? So just so you know, this is where it comes. You need to have your own knowledge, your own awareness of what you're buying and what you're putting in your body, and not just simply read
I just researched those ingredients because they're hidden in there.
Absolutely. So this is why we say the easiest, safe-proof way of doing keto is just to get one ingredient foods where you know what's in it because it has no label, it has no list of ingredients. Okay? So we're almost getting ready to serve up our dish, but I think we have one more question for this week. This is so good. The straw is leaky.
There's more there, right? I think I need seconds too.
That's right, studio audience. I see that those cups are empty. Don't worry. We're about to refill them. All right, what do we have here, baby? Our last Q&A for this season.
Last Q&A for the season. Wow, that went by quick. I've been keto for 3 weeks. I bought keto test strips, but it's not showing that I am in ketosis.
All right, this is a great question. So a lot of people, when they come to this lifestyle of keto, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and you'll see companies that sell you test strips. They might be breath strips that you blow on, or they might be pee strips that you pee on, like a pregnancy test, okay? And so this is very tricky, and this is why you need to know your stuff. What happens is that when you're on a carb diet and you start doing keto, in the beginning, your body has not transitioned into using ketones for energy. And so what happens is that these excess ketones that you're now producing by consuming this fat gets peed out in your urine or will come out in your breath. So that the way that these products work is that when you're first getting into keto, you have these excess ketones and your body has not yet learned that you're using this for energy in the absence of carbs. And so they get peed out as excess ketones in your urine, okay? So in fact, when you use one of those test strips and it shows that it has ketones, you're not even yet in ketosis, okay? When you actually get into ketosis, your body's not gonna pee out these excess ketones because instead you're gonna use them for energy. So it could be tricky. If you buy some of these test strip kits and you're like, oh, I'm in keto, I'm doing all the things, I've cut out carbs, and it's not showing it on this test, it's probably because you're actually in ketosis and you're not peeing out or breathing out the excess ketones because your body is using it. This is why you need to know exactly what are the actual signs, like we talked about in the previous questions, of being in ketosis, where you start feeling more energy, more mental focus, better sleep, and a reduced appetite.
So I have a question for you in this for the strips. Are they necessary?
No.
Okay. I just want to know, are they really necessary?
Listen, how can I put, you know the whole law of supply and demand? There's a lot of people that want to change their life, want to change their health, and they want to feel as though they're doing everything in their power to do all the right things, right?
Got it.
So people say, oh, look, buy these strips, and they're going to let you know if you're in ketosis. But unless you have an acute awareness of what being in ketosis is and how it works biologically in your body, you can be easily duped into spending your money on something that you don't actually need, okay?
Interesting,
Better mental focus, better sleep, more energy, reduced appetite. Those are 4 glaring symbols that you're in ketosis. You don't need to buy any product.
So if you're watching, write them down, okay?
Or replay this video, give us more views, okay? All right, so we're about to get into plating up our dish for this week, and I'm so excited. So we already have one of our lambs already done for the magic of internet TV. Let me put this here on camera 1 so everyone at home can see that gorgeous close-up. Doesn't that look sexy, baby?
Looks beautiful,
Amazing, look at this, okay? So we have our gorgeous little rack of lamb, and like with anything that comes out of an oven or cooking pan, we're talking about meats here, you wanna let this rest, okay? Basically what happens, a lot of people say, oh, I cooked my steak and it's dry.
Yeah.
When meat, right, food has water in it, all right? And just like boiling water where the water molecules are all over the place, when something is heated, the water molecules inside are all over the place. So when something comes out the oven, if you cut into it right away, all those juices, all of that moisture is gonna run out.
Okay.
And by the time you start to eat it, it's what people think is dried out, okay? So you need to let your meat rest. All right, so let me get this on the cutting board.
So what should be the right temperature for them?
So there is no right temperature. It's pretty a matter of personal choice, okay? Some people like their meat more well done. Some people like it more on the rare or medium rare side, and that's also perfectly fine. All right, I'm gonna throw that back in the oven to cook with our other one. Ow!
So dramatic.
Our oven's a little smoky because we had a spill before, but it's okay. We're okay. All right, and now let me get our plate over here, baby.
So this is basically to taste, like to taste.
For your own preference.
Your
Yep,
preference.
that's
Got
right.
It. Yeah.
So you have the tongs?
Yeah, I do.
You like the tong swiper. Swipey, no, swipey. Okay. Look at that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Like you. All right, so we've got our greens here. You can still see that these are still bright and green. Bring it to camera 1 so you can check that out. It still has that nice, wonderful color. And then we're gonna get some of that smoked turkey in there, because that's my favorite part. That's gonna add a delicious depth of flavor.
Sigue, sigue, sigue.
Seguimos.
Yeah.
Sí, paramos. No. All right. Now we have our lamb chops right here. These are about medium rare, the way I like them, but I put them back in the oven so that we can get them the way my love likes them.
Yes.
More on the medium well side.
Medium well.
All right, let's clean up our cutting board here, because you don't want to eat food from somebody with a dirty station. All right, and let's get a beautiful shot over here of this on camera 1. That look gorgeous?
It does look gorgeous.
Doesn't
Absolutely.
it look gorgeous?
It does look
You
gorgeous.
guys ready to eat? Let's go back to camera 1. All right, wonderful.
Yes.
So let's give this a taste, baby. How about that?
Yes, get a knife. Get a knife and a fork. Let's.
Oh, I got a knife. But I just need to get a... So this is the type of fork that I use, because I'm a man. All right? Actually, I'll tell you a quick funny story before we get into this. I told you my niece Amanda, when she was a baby, my mom would feed her, and I would watch my mom feed her, and she would give her these big spoonfuls of food, and I'm like, oh my God, my mom's gonna kill Amanda.
And she's gonna choke, right?
but she would come around and she would chomp it down and come back like a bird for more food. So then I realized that's why I use such big, obtuse silverware when I eat, all right? Because I need a really big bite, okay? Sometimes when I go to restaurants, I'm actually tempted to bring my own silverware, but I don't do that because we're classy.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so let's cut up a piece here.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Bring it in. Get in my belly.
No, you don't get to use my fork. Would you like?
Oh, my greens came out really dope.
Like always. Like always. You taste this.
So good. Yeah. Delicious.
That's good.
Really good.
This
Oh,
is my favorite part of the show.
Oh, man, yes. That's really good.
We need to end this show so we can feed everybody. How about that? You guys ready to eat? All right, so we're going to recap today's recipe.
Yes, pretty simple.
We made a roasted rack of lamb.
Let me stuff my face a little bit more.
Please do. We roasted that with are so good. We made a marinade with some grated garlic, ginger, some red chili flakes, and then we used some fresh herbs. We have rosemary and mint today. Of course, you can use whatever kind of herbs you like. We rub that up. You can marinate it in advance or just do it right before you throw it in the oven. Make sure your meat is room temperature, and then we cooked it in the oven for about 15 minutes at 450 degrees. That's for medium rare. If you want to cook further, leave it there for a little bit longer, another 5-10 minutes. And then we made my love's famous braised greens. She normally does them with collards, but we use kale today, which gives you that nice, delicious green flavor, but it cooks a little bit quicker.
Actually, it doesn't really taste that much of a difference. It doesn't, so pretty good. Maybe I'll
what's in your greens, baby? We use the turkey, the smoked turkey tails.
Yes. I did some seasoning, some bouillon, and some cayenne pepper.
And a little adobo, right?
A little bit of adobo and chicken stock,
That's right.
Chicken stock, or you can use vegetable stock, yes.
That's right. So we simmered our turkey tails in chicken stock for about, 45 minutes?
45 minutes,
Get them nice and tender, because they're already cooked, they're already smoked, so they cook through.
Yeah.
But you just want to get them nice and tender. And then we sliced up our roasted lamb and enjoyed.
Pretty good.
So, baby, what should they do if they enjoyed today's recipe?
Absolutely. So if you enjoyed our season and you enjoyed our episodes, please like and share. Hit that notification bell button so that way you are notified for our next upcoming season. And for today, this is our last one. But for the next one, yes, we will continue to have content. That's right. Correct.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Keto Cooking with Love, as well as on Top Class Radio for our podcast and cooking shows. And
tell them the number in case
yeah,
they're
so
not
you
aware.
can call and text your questions. You can call during the live transmission of the show, or you can text questions at 609-418-9816. You can download the app for free on your app store, Top Class Radio, and join us on our podcast with all your questions.
Tomorrow, live at 6 p.m.
That's right. And we'll be here with you guys next year for a new season of Keto Cooking with Love. This has been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone that's joined us.
Everyone that's joined us live on our studio as well. We do appreciate, 'cause also they have to commute from different distances. So we do appreciate your support as always.
That's right.
Yes.
And so, guys, now we're going to leave you, as always, in the words of Vincent van Gogh.
Yes.
What's done in love is done well.
Hit that notification bell.
Mwah.
A comer.
A comer se ha dicho.